always sunny down in Mexico. The sun gets high when I get low. The only way to get there is to let yourself go. Good times are made in Mexico.
The credit from the TA, that's us, travel agent, but it really wasn't a credit from us. It's really from the hotel, right? But that was part of the room block contract that we did with you and the resort. So you got bucks from us. The Honey Money program, can you describe what that is in your own words?
So from what I understood is based on the amount that we spent with the hotel or with them, this is money that applies directly to wedding costs. My name's Emily Turo now. We got married at the Fives Beach Hotel and Residences at Playa del Carmen, Mexico. Having a destination wedding kind of fell into our lap. Nobody we knew had a destination wedding. Nobody brought it up to us. We started researching venues and events in New York, and they were pricey. You're talking like $15,000 just to get the venue, not including food or anything like that. So we were like, that's fine. We'll just do a little DIY wedding at like a state park or in the backyard. We were starting to look between like $10,000 and $15,000 just for renting a tent or renting food or renting all this stuff. Like, once we got everything added on, it probably would have been between $10,000 and $15,000 just to do a DIY. You're talking like all the little pieces, right?
Wait, what part of New York are you in?
In upstate New York.
You're upstate, and it's still that expensive.
Yeah. I mean, usually catering, the ones I was looking at were like between $40 to $50 per person, which isn't bad. Like, we were looking at like food trucks or whatever, but mean, once you start looking at like tents and drinks and decor and tables and chairs and all the extras, we would have been between $10,000 and $15,000. So my friend and I one night, we were just scrolling social media and scrolling whatever for weddings, looking up options for budget weddings, and we came across destination weddings, and we said, well, could we do this? Because at that point I was like, let's just elope. Me and my husband were just gonna elope and go somewhere. And we said, well, everyone would have to come with us anyways because they wouldn't let us elope by ourselves. So we said, let's have a destination wedding. And the shocking thing was everybody was on board. It was immediately people we were talking to, all of our immediate family, all of our close friends, they said, yes, absolutely, let's go to Mecca, or let's have a destination wedding, wherever you're going to go. And that's when I found you.
Well, you guys were like the first in your group, like you hadn't been to a destination wedding before, and
No, nobody had done it, nobody,
They're super popular now.
I guess so. I mean, now that I'm in the, circle, I see it everywhere of people having destination weddings, so.
And obviously it's only been a month, but have you found any of your guests are like, this was freaking awesome, and I want to do this when I get married, if they're not married already?
Most of them were already married, and so we were looking at, like, all the teenagers there and everything. I was like, all right, it's on you guys to have a destination wedding so that we get to do this again. That next generation it's up to you.
How did you find Be All Inclusive?
So I started, going down the rabbit hole of budget weddings, budget destination weddings, and I came across a blog. She had used you guys, and so she wrote about it in her blog, and she just talked about like how easy of an experience is, and she kind of broke down her budget, and I said, this is exactly what I'm looking for, and so that's when I connected with you. I don't even think I looked at other travel agents, because when we got on a call, I was like, yep, this sounds great. They're going to send me stuff, and it's going to make it so easy, because it is overwhelming at first, not knowing where to start. Like, I was not the type of girl that had her wedding plans all picked out in the flowers and all the details, So planning a wedding already was overwhelming to me. So finding you guys was an instant relief.
Finding a blog that broke down the budget, it's so important, and I'm so happy. We already discussed. There's always like a question when I do these. I'm like, do you want to go into budget or not? And you're like, yeah, I got everything broken. I'm like, great. I love it, because so many people are like secretive about what they spent. And I understand. I think maybe from the couple's perspective, they don't want to let, their guests know what they spent or whatnot. And, even on our website, like when we put a budget breakdown, we put, it's a real client, but we put fake names and use different photos of different couples, because some people can be really private about it. I'm super excited that you found the blog, was open and outlined everything. It's a major factor for everybody planning a wedding and looking at the options. How did you choose the 5 specifically, or was it just a blind leap of faith like, hey, James, I trust you?
No, when we had our conversation, we really went into, you talked about what we wanted to experience there and what we were looking for as far as a vibe and things that we needed for our guests. So a big part of it was, we knew that a lot of our guests have larger families, like you're talking 3+ kids, 3 to 5 kids. So I said, if they're going to bring all their kids, we're going to need a room set up for them that they can have their family there. And a lot of the resorts have adjoining rooms, which can be tricky to kind of manage. And you said, that's kind of hard to kind of request and make sure that everyone is set up with their adjoining rooms correctly with their kids.
Or the hotels try to put you into booking the family suite, which is, 5 times the price. So, yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, and we wanted to keep it budget friendly because we did want people to be able to bring their families. I wanted it to be a vacation for them, not just solely focused on the wedding. So when we found the 5s, that's really the only hotel that we came across that had these suite setups, which are like small apartments. And so even if you got a 1 or a 2 bedroom, every single one has a little kitchenette, it has a little living room, it has a pull-out sofa. So I knew that people with kids and smaller kids and family members would be able to use these very comfortably, and it was very affordable for the style of rooms that you were getting. And so when I brought it back to you, I was like, I think this is the resort that I want. And you said, well, the food there is incredible. It's some of the best food that I've had at a resort. And I said, yes, okay, this is great. Put it on the list.
Food is always something that's like, okay, well, it depends on the price of the resort. The higher the price, the better the food, right? And the 5s is like an outlier for me to that, because I've always had great food there, but it doesn't come at that, premium, expensive price, hotel price. So I thought it's always been a really good kind of, bang for your buck property, I think, because it really performs. I mean, it's, nicer, newer rooms. And it's funny, you said, like, it's like having an apartment. They are literally condos. When they're not used by the owners, they'll rent them out back to the resort. You hear that and you think, okay, well, wait, is there like pictures of like, family pictures on the wall and like that kind of stuff? And it's like, no, they're very set on what they have to do. Did you see any signs of it being like a person's actual place when you were there?
No, but we did ask the staff. Like, we asked one of the staff members. We were like, how do you do this? And they said that there is like a closet for people, and they put their stuff away and it gets locked up. And then when the owners come, they take it all out and set it up for them. And I was like, that's pretty cool.
The only signs I've ever seen is that sometimes the bathrobes have like somebody's name on them. So and I'm like, wait a second, I don't think that one's supposed to be in here. That's probably supposed to be in that closet. You mentioned you were kind of like interested on the resort side of things, but was there any must-haves on the wedding side of things as well that you were looking for that we discussed?
Not really. I think I was looking for a good package, so, I think that came along right after we selected it. We reached out to the wedding coordinator, and they showed us our wedding packages, and a lot of them have them on their website, so I was kind of looking into, like, the price point of what their packages are, of what they include, and things like that, but I didn't really know what to expect going in. I didn't know what to even ask for going into it. I had pretty low expectations of what I needed, or low demands of what I needed for a wedding. I really just wanted to show up and have a beautiful wedding and have them take care of things for me.
Can you speak a little bit to the experience of planning before your trip? I hope we guided you pretty well through that. And then, but really on the 5 side, pre-traveling, you talking to them about the wedding packages and whatnot. How did you find that process?
Yeah, so, obviously you all did great. I don't think I even had to deal with anything on the guest side or reservation side. So you did our room block, you set up our wedding website, and you handled everything from there. It was perfect. No complaints. It was all put together great. You connected me with the wedding coordinators at the Fives, and we started going through, you really don't, they'll do some information with you 6 months to a year out, the bare essentials of what you need to get reserved, like this location and things, but you're not going to get into real nitty gritty details with them until I think 3 months out is like the norm.
Did I prep you for that, and so that you understood that process? Because that can be really a deterrent for some people, I think. And if you're type A, you're like, no, I need to know before then.
Yeah.
So were you prepared for that?
Yes, you had forewarned me about that, and so I was prepared for it. It is a weird feeling because I want to say last summer, a lot of people kept asking us, how's wedding planning going? Are you getting stressed? Are you getting anxious with all the planning going on? And I kept saying no, because we haven't planned anything yet. We're just waiting for all the details to come together. So it wasn't really a stressor for me because, like I said, I knew it was going to be very simple, very basic. I didn't need a lot of extras, so I knew when we got to that point, I wouldn't need to add on a lot. So it didn't stress me.
I love how you said no, like with a question mark. Like, no, should I be stressed?
Yeah, that's really what I felt like. I was like, should I be more anxious about this because we haven't planned anything yet?
Right.
So we did get the locations set, and so right off the bat, they reserve your locations of what you want. They tell you what's available for what days and times. We did have some back and forths about our reception location. So our ceremony location was at a beachfront gazebo. Beautiful. Loved it. I knew right from
What time?
right from the start that I wanted it. We were at 5 p.m.
Okay. All right.
So it was nice and cool and breezy, and in the evening.
Yeah, about an hour or so before sunset,
Yep.
which is what we usually recommend.
Yeah.
So did you do a first look?
We didn't. I did a first look with my dad before he walked me down the aisle, and that was really special. And then Rob, my husband, was at the altar, and they had him turning around. So they got the first look as I was coming down the aisle. That was really great.
So what about the reception location then?
I honestly don't even remember what the first location was that we picked. I want to say it was the Sky Terrace, which they also had somebody on the roof deck that night, and so they said, you guys might be, interfering with each other a little bit. If you wanted to move, we have these other places available. And so I said, yeah, sure. They had a place called the Wine Room available, which was very beautiful and things like that. So I said, yes, let's go there. The Fives is doing a lot of renovations right now and upgrading a lot of things and updating things. So they ended up taking out the wine room, and it wouldn't be available for the day that we were getting married. And so I started getting like, I don't know what I want. I'm terrible at making decisions. I hate when decisions are put in front of me and I have to choose right then and there. So I was feeling a little uneasy about it because the other location that they had was either the beach or the Five Salon, which is pretty much a ballroom. Originally, I had said that I wanted dinner to be inside so that people would kind of have a chance to cool off if it was really hot out. But then I just kept hemming and hawing over it, and I was like, I can't go to Mexico for a destination wedding and have my wedding in a ballroom.
Yeah,
So I
100%.
said, no, we're going to do the beach. We're going to have everything on the beach gazebo, and then we'll go down to the beach for the reception and dinner and after. So it ended up being perfect. I mean, I can't imagine.
Yeah.
It was so breezy by the... I mean, that's the unknown of what we didn't know, was how hot is it going to be? Is there going to be any breeze on the beach at night? Are we just all going to be sweating and hot and humid? Yeah. So it was just the unknown of it. But when we got there, it was breezy, it was beautiful, we were dancing, it was the perfect temperature. So,
well, take me through the trip. I mean, from start to finish, though, how many days before did you arrive?
So we arrived on a Wednesday, and we weren't getting married till Saturday. So we wanted to give ourselves a little bit of time just to get there and, show up. Travel was all super easy. It felt a little bit like Home Alone because we had this huge group traveling with us. On Wednesday, we had 3 families, my husband's mother, We had a layover in Orlando where we were going to pick up my parents and my brother and his fiance. So, I mean, it was just this whole pack of people traveling together. It was probably over 20 people. So it was really fun to get not only the experience of going somewhere with people, but traveling with your friends and traveling with your family. It was just the coolest thing ever. And the whole time that we were on this trip and planning for the trip, we knew, like, this is a once in a lifetime experience. This is something that's never going to be able to happen again. You might go on vacation again with your family or your best friends or whatever it is, but getting all of those people from both sides together, that's once in a lifetime, and that's what made it just so incredible for us. So when we got there, you know, we had our beautiful transportation set up from Be All Inclusive.
Surprise!
That was the coolest experience. And I told you in our email, you're so dead set on planning everything and getting all the details together and just getting to the location that I think Rob, my husband, and I both realized we were so stressed out and so dead set on let's just go there, let's just make this happen, let's get all the pieces together, that it took us getting to like our special transport, and you had provided a little gift basket for us getting there and having that moment of like, oh, we are the people that all this is for, we are the people getting celebrated, that we were like, oh, we need to take a step back and really soak in this moment. Like, this is our wedding. This is our wedding week. This is our whole destination wedding. So it was a perfect reminder to kind of snap us out of it and really put us in the moment of celebrating and just experience.
You're the first person I've heard say that, and it's like, yeah, that is the idea, is, you know, to take a step back. It's like even on wedding day, there's usually that moment, like after the ceremony, the couple goes back, and, you know, a lot of times at destination weddings, you know, again, I'm talking from the photographer side of me, a lot of times at destination weddings, a couple would go back out, and, you know, and sometimes they just go in the air conditioning for a minute and just take a minute. And as a photographer, I always tried to, like, leave them be. During that time, like, let them have, this is the only time all day that they're going to have alone, you know, let them enjoy it. And so it's kind of like you had that moment right from the start because you were with your family and all traveling, which is kind of hectic and yet fun and like memory making, and like, you know, so it is. That's what I love about destination weddings. The memories start, like the experience starts right from the beginning. Did you find most of your guests traveled the same days as you then, or did other guests come in after?
We had a few that were already there when we got there because they wanted to be able to take a full week. They had a weekend the following weekend. Like, they just had a crazy schedule. So a few people arrived maybe a day or two ahead of us. We arrived on Wednesday. Most of the people were there by Thursday. And then we all left around Tuesday or Wednesday the following week. So most people stayed 5 to 6 days. And we were all there for the, like, whole duration together for the most part. So.
What did your guests think of the property? Was it their first times traveling as well? You know, what was their feedback? Because I'm sure, you know, you were all experiencing it together. So you obviously had it as a bride's point of view, but what was the guest point of view?
It was my first time at an all-inclusive, and obviously we loved it. It was the first time at an all-inclusive for a few others, and I got nothing but positive responses. My aunt and uncle, they regularly go to Cozumel for like an all-inclusive condo that they have there, and they said it was amazing. You know, like, they loved the food. They said, you know, all-inclusives kind of have the same layout, have the same design, but they said that there was certain things about the Fives that really made it special, like the rooms and the restaurants were really great. So there was things that, you know, elevated it a little bit that they noticed, and they really enjoyed it. So we had a wide range. A lot of people have traveled before. A lot of people have gone to all-inclusives. And then we had one family that has never traveled before or been on a plane before. And they were coming on Thursday. It was a husband and wife and their 2 teenage daughters and a baby. So you had this whole family, never traveled before. They had to travel internationally. They were so nervous about it. So we actually had to be like, okay, you need to find my cousin and his wife because they're on the same flight as you. So you guys need to pair up so they can help you through your layover and help you get where you need to go. So it was just really cool to see everyone coming together, people that had never known each other. We had a WhatsApp group. So people were sending photos of themselves and introducing themselves and saying what time they were getting in, what flight they were on, and people were connecting naturally through that. So that was really useful the entire time that we were there, just to pinpoint, the guests are down here, we're going to be at the pool, we're going to be on the beach, we're going to be wherever.
Yeah. I can't recommend WhatsApp for groups more. Sometimes it's frustrating because I feel like, I spend a good part of the year in Florida, and I feel like everybody down there is like, they all use WhatsApp, everybody knows it. And then the other part of the year, I'm in Maryland, and I feel like nobody here uses WhatsApp. They've never heard of it. And, but it is so great, and internationally everybody uses it. So it's just Americans that don't use it. So it is so great, specifically when you're traveling internationally and when you don't know if you're going to have cell phone coverage, but you've got hotel Wi-Fi. It's a better platform than whether you're iPhone, whether you're Android. It's better than any of those, in my opinion. So I wish everybody used it.
It worked so well for us. It was perfect, and it was really, really sweet. My husband's best friend from high school, it was his first time meeting, his friends that he hangs out with now and works with and things like that. And when we got back, two of the guys posted into the group that they ended up at a same concert together and took a picture together. And so they were posting in the WhatsApp of hey, I found so-and-so. And so it was just cool to see how it continued on after the wedding, that people are still connecting on it.
I've been going to resorts, for a long time, and we call them, we have resort friends. People we just met because they were at the resort at the same time as us. I'm still friends with one. I invited somebody to be my plus one at a wedding, right? So, those relationships continue just because you shared that, that week together sometimes. So obviously a little bit more connection, having the wedding, connecting them as well there. That's why we do what we do. I've always been in weddings, but destination weddings are a whole nother experience for everybody. Did you do any events pre-wedding? Did you do a welcome party or anything?
Yeah, so included in our package was a semi-private dinner, which included up to 40 people. So we realized that the night we arrive, the guests that were currently present at the resort, it would fall under 40 people. So we used that as our semi-private dinner. It was a chance for us to show up, get to see everybody, collect everyone in one space. They say semi-private dinner, but we pretty much had a private location and private tables. I'm sure that it varies for every person that's there, whatever is available. But we had a set menu. It was delicious. We did notice that all of the private events, they put extra effort into the food. They're making sure that your food is absolutely delicious, fresh, delicious, wonderful. It's so great. So we had that on Wednesday night, and then Thursday was just kind of a free day for everyone, whatever they wanted to do. Friday night we had another welcome cocktail party. So we just did little tacos and 2-hour bar, and we did that down by the beach, and it was just another chance for us all to get together and really hang out.
What was your favorite part of wedding day itself?
It definitely has to be the reception, because we didn't put in a lot of extras to it, and the entire time I was just blown away by how much fun it was, and I just kept looking around and being I can't believe this is my wedding.
One of those pinch yourself moments, is this real?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was twinkle lights. We had gotten a dance floor. I just put together a music playlist to play for the wedding portion of it, but everyone was dancing. The teenagers were dancing. I was just blown away and having so much fun with everybody. So definitely those moments of being able to stop and being I can't believe that this is real.
Did you do any events afterwards, or did everybody just roll out the next couple days afterwards?
Yeah, everyone pretty much just did their own thing afterwards. We didn't really do a farewell. The day after the wedding, Rob and I kind of just took as our hideaway honeymoon day. I will say that as being the people that are getting married, that everyone's showing up to that location for, pretty much everywhere you go, you're having a conversation with somebody, which is great because they're people that you haven't seen, they're people that you haven't connected with, so you are talking all day to everyone. So I do highly recommend having a day where you can just
Yeah.
be with your person and step away. Like we just went to like the adults pool and hung out for the morning and grabbed lunch and just kind of wandered around by ourselves to kind of have that extra moment. But we still met up with everyone that night and we still saw people around the resort and, chatted
Yeah.
with them.
And
And
that's the kind of
then,
the beauty of a destination wedding, though, is that you actually get time to actually spend with your family and friends, as opposed to like a local wedding where it's, hey, you got, this much time for the reception. You go say hi, thanks for coming, and then you roll on to the next table.
and I feel like that's the biggest thing that you hear from people at weddings, or like the biggest theme of weddings is people say, wow, that was a blur. Like, I don't even remember that happening. I don't even remember talking to this person. I don't even remember seeing that person. Not the case for us. We had a conversation with everyone. We got a moment with everyone. We sat with everyone. We ate with everyone. We drank with everyone. Like, that is one thing that I will say. Your wedding extends into the entire week, and it just makes all of those memories even so much sweeter. So
I love it. I love it. You're reminding me of why I do this. I'm jealous. Like, I want to be there.
we did a symbolic ceremony, and we did our legal paperwork and everything in New York. And we were like, can we get symbolically divorced so we can go do another symbolic ceremony in Mexico? Because we want to do all of this all over again.
Looking back on it all now, was there, any challenges or surprises or things that you wish you would have known ahead of time or done differently?
With anything, you get stressed out before the wedding, packing and making sure you have everything. That was probably the biggest stress for us, is figuring out, what are we going to forget? We're having a whole wedding and we're having everyone there. What's going to be the thing that we forget? And we didn't. We had family members put out the decorations and stuff at the reception, in between the ceremony and the reception. There was like an hour of time. So they ran down and they put out the decor on the tables and the guest table and everything.
Okay.
I will say next time I probably would have had a staff member just go do that, because it was a lot of like small details that probably the family didn't need to be bothered with, right? From a bride perspective, I can tell you I don't think I looked at anybody's centerpieces once during the night, and I didn't know that they were missing. Nobody else knew that they were supposed to be put out, so nobody else knew that they were missing, so it did not make a difference to absolutely anybody.
Especially at weddings, people can just get caught up in all the details of, you have to do this, you have to do this, and it's like, you don't have to do any of that.
Exactly, yeah. And that was the biggest thing for me, is I was just trying to like make it as simple as possible, make it as basic as possible. You're in a beautiful location. I was trying to use that, but you do get caught up in like do I need this? Like, do I need to add this? Do I have to give people this? Do I have to do this?
Right.
Because there's such a wide range of things that people offer their guests, or people do for their guests, or have at their wedding, or their flowers, whatever.
You created this awesome document. In this document, it kind of outlines your expenses and how things went. The credit from the TA, that's us, travel agent, but it really wasn't a credit from us. It's really from the hotel, right? But that was part of the room block contract that we did with you and the resort. So you got $831 from us. The Honey Money program, can you describe what that is in your own words?
So from what I understood, is based on the amount that we spent with the hotel, or with them. This is money that applies directly to wedding costs. And so when you're working out a planner, they give you a whole website of everything that you can add on to your wedding. And that's where the money is deducted from.
There's not a lot of resorts that do that. There's a lot of resorts that give a room credit based off of how many rooms you book, but there's not a lot of properties that give some sort of incentive towards the actual wedding cost. So that's something that's unique to the Fives and just a few other properties, really. What is gifts?
That was monetary gifts from our guests or from family members that didn't come. We didn't really account for anybody doing gifts. We didn't account for that. Obviously, I should have accounted that, like, yes, people will give you gifts. It's a wedding, right? So we just kind of rolled that into the wedding budget because we weren't expecting it. We were like, this will just kind of offset our costs.
Destination wedding, I'm always like, most of our couples are just like, yeah, we don't really expect gifts at a destination wedding because you paid to come.
Exactly. And that's what we put on our invitations. That's what we put on our save the dates. Like, if you are coming, we do not expect money from you. You are at our wedding.
Yeah, but
And
people
then
still
even
do.
for people not coming, we didn't want them to feel obligated. Oh, I can't come to Mexico, so I have to give you a gift. Like, we didn't want any kind of obligation. We probably invited about 100 people total. We had 60 people come. That's 47 adults and I think 19 kids.
So the rest of it, flights, obviously the room. It looks like you did an excursion in Chichen Itza, was cool. Looks like you accounted for tips. Man, you accounted for everything in this. This is great. I feel like it's so helpful. The cost for favors that you did and the details of those, what you did. Invites. How did you handle invites? Did you actually do real invites?
So we did an electronic save the date that had a postable link for us to gather addresses from people. And then we sent out physical invites with the wedding URL on the wedding website on the invite.
I was just asked because sometimes people in destination weddings, like, they skip it or they do it differently than like a traditional local wedding, you know?
We did have to add on like an e-reminder as the booking window got closer. So it was like save the date, invite, and then a reminder that we just sent out to their emails or on social media or something that was like, hey, don't forget to pay for your room or book it.
Yeah.
Because it was getting really close to the end and a lot of people hadn't booked yet. So definitely needing a reminder for sure.
No worries. So next you had the photographer, $1,700 on a photographer. I love that you noted a 5% discount or exclusive discount for working with BAI. So you've got the hair and nails cost, centerpiece costs, guest book, groom's clothes, wedding party clothes, bride and clothes, wedding planner. And that was basically, this is basically the cost of the actual wedding reception and whatnot. We said wedding planner, but like it wasn't like a separate wedding planner. This was the resort's weddings team that
Their online planner, yeah.
Yeah, and I love how you outlined everything. That includes the welcome cocktail, the semi-private dinner the day beforehand, the ceremony, the reception, everything. And then you conveniently outline it right here. Wedding cost total was $12,452. Travel vacation cost was $6,823. So total combined around $19,000. But with the credits you got back of $2,300, total after discounts was $16,000, almost $17,000. If you took into account your guest gifts as well, your total cost was really $12,600. How many guests total? Remind me again.
About 60 total, so 40-something adults, 19 kids.
60 guests, all-inclusive resort, all your guests' meals and alcohol paid for the entire week, right? Your meals and alcohol paid for the entire week. And to have a full wedding with multiple events throughout for, that many guests at 17 grand. I'm not including your guest gifts because obviously that depends on each group.
Yes.
A fraction of what you would have spent for the level of the event in the U.S.
Yeah. Obviously, when I first looked at the total, because I had to add it all up when we'd finished traveling and everything. When I first looked at the total, I was like, ooh, yikes. But then when I really thought about it, you're talking about an entire week, like you said, an entire week of events, an entire week of connecting with people, multiple dinners, multiple whatever, and it was also not only that, so it was my husband and I, and then my stepson traveling with us. So we were really paying the travel cost of 3 people. He's a teenager, so they bill him as an adult for everything now, which is unfortunate, and then we also paid for an additional family member. So that's like 4 people traveling to Mexico for a week that we're paying for. So ours might have even been a little higher than a couple going.
That's good to know. I'm glad you pointed that out.
Yeah, so it was like a little bit, and I was like, well, break it in half for a vacation and then break it in half for a wedding. It's an incredible deal.
Yeah, and that's the same. There's so many venues that are just, it's this much just to rent an empty ballroom for 6 hours one day. And only to be right afterwards, you're getting chased out because there's another wedding coming in from behind, for the next time slot. Any final words that you'd like to say? Anything I missed or didn't touch on at all?
We all are still reliving the day. We're all still just glowing from the entire week. We all want to go back. We already were talking about what anniversary we're going to pick to go back and celebrate at the 5. So I mean, it was a dream. Like, we can't imagine ever doing anything differently, and it's truly an indescribable moment for sure.
Sunny down in Mexico.